another banger of a video. Today we are going to be talking about my GoPro setup for dirt biking. This is going to include obviously the camera, and I'm going to include some things like the drone that I use, stabilization mounts, whatever. And last but not least, I'm going to include the actual mount that I use for my helmet. So let's get right into it. The camera I use is the Hero 11 Black. It's just the standard edition, super good camera, whatever. The only thing I have to complain about is the battery life. It's a little bit bad, but I'm going to show you my settings here in just a second to show you kind of how I combat that battery life issue. Instead of filming at the top settings, I film at 2.7K, 60 frames per second with the Super View mode turned on and the auto boost stabilization. Obviously, like I said, the reason I don't film at the full settings, obviously just because of that battery life there, not on par. And if you scroll down from the top and right on the menu, you'll find on the GoPro, you'll find a battery life thing. And if you turn that to the middle slider, it will say standard or extended battery life, depending on what model you have. And if you turn that on, it literally doesn't even change your settings. I mean, it'll limit it down to 2.7K, 60, which is still looking really good. And actually qualifies as 4K on YouTube for some reason. So you can put your videos as 4K, even though it's only 2.7K. Next thing we're going to jump right into is, obviously, I'm just going to go ahead and say the mount that I use for my helmet, which allows me to get the best view of the handlebars and the actual trail in front of me. It allows for super, super good footage. I use the protective casing, obviously, because of debris, rocks. I have so many protective casings, that I've broken. Then they're a lot cheaper than the actual GoPro itself. So I'm thankful I decided to use these instead of cracking my actual lens. Definitely a must-have if you want to do filming GoPro with dirt bikes. Obviously, I have the chin mount here. I'll leave a link in the description for all of this stuff. But the chin mount's super sick, 18 bucks on Amazon. And they're fairly durable, fairly good, and it gives you a really, really, really good view. I also use an extension on that because the protective casing doesn't like to turn back as far without an extension that kind of turns it a little bit forward. So that's kind of what I do with that. And last but not least, we are going to talk about my drone. I have the Spectra Mini 2 drone. And the reason I love this drone so much is because it's just like its counterpart, the DJI Mini 3, which has a lot of really good features. You guys have probably heard of it before. But this one actually has one better feature, and all the others the same, which is 3-axis gimbal stabilization. And that just is like this little deal right here that kind of follows whatever, keeps super stable in the air, and that's 3-axis instead of 2-axis, and it's a lot cheaper. It's $280 versus $400, and you can get batteries, whatever, for cheaper as well. So that's kind of why I went with the Spectra versus the DJI. And it's super cool. It's got the same kind of remote interface here. You're going to have to get the app on your phone. Comes with an adapter for iPhone, as you guys can see right here. And it also includes an adapter for Samsung, too. So it works with any phone. The app is really easy to navigate. Whatever, you just put your phone right here. Then, as you guys can see, it's kind of cool. There's these little joysticks down in the bottom here. And you can put these and screw them on. And that's kind of just how you do that. And then press once, hold, turned on for both the drone and the thing, and then you just go flying in your app. Super simple, super easy, and the settings on the drone look fairly good from what I've seen. I've only had it for about 3 weeks, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But yeah, this right here is the pole that I use for doing my intros and whatever at races. Right, it's kind of stiff. But with the stabilization feature on the GoPro, I don't notice too much wobbly activity. And this one has 3 connection points, so you can take off different lengths if you want. Like if we go ahead and take this one off here, we can just have, obviously, this arm, right? And then we'll just connect our GoPro there, right? So it's kind of easy to adapt to what you need as a creator. And those are just my awesome, setup tips for moto vlogging. Obviously, the helmet requires a little bit of adaptation depending on the model of helmet that you have. Some have a little bit more curved front, so the chin mount you have to do a little bit of modifying maybe. I've had previous helmets that you do. And then obviously if that protective case is not going to want to fold back as much unless you have a helmet that kind of curves in a whole bunch. But for the most part, you're going to have to get that little extension. I think I'll leave the description in the link in the description for the kit that I use that has a bunch of mounts. It doesn't include the chin mount, but it also includes one of my favorite parts actually about it is this one little wrench that fits exactly on the GoPro screws like this. You can tighten them down as much as you need without hurting your hands, and even how much you crank it down, you're still going to have wobble, right, without that wrench. And it just makes it super easy for quick swaps, whatever, with mounts and different things before races. And then last but not least, obviously the thing that I'm filming with right now, I also film different things at races with as well and different moto vlogs. It's my phone. I have an iPhone 14, just simple, super good camera quality, whatever. That's why I'm using it to film right now, is because it's not technically part of my moto vlogging setup, but definitely it comes in handy when filming things. So yeah, that's kind of that. The GoPro official stabilized, or the stick, whatever you call it, Spectra Mini drone, super good. GoPro Hero 11. And then last but not least, the helmet with the chin mount. You guys can look at it a little bit closer. Yeah, and then the protective casing. I super much recommend the protective casing with roost and rocks and whatever else. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and tune into some of my other videos to see some of my awesome moto vlogs. And I mostly focus on shorts, so go ahead and check those out. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.